Hi friends, welcome back. Today we're gonna go see AfrAId. This is a new Blumhouse AI smart house horror film. The AI horror films are on the rise. We've seen several lately. Probably the most successful within horror recently would have been Megan, which also utilizes the kind of funky code letter hidden within the name, and for AfrAId they do that. They capitalize the AI. I'm not too sure if this is the most effective title for this. It was originally called They Listen, which I think fits into the horror sphere a little bit better, but nevertheless, let's move past the title. But I do want to know, if you leave down the comments, are you a fan of AI smart tech horror movies? Do you think they're kind of overdone right now? It's a huge trend, and I'll be interested to see if AfrAId can add anything new. The film stars John Cho, Catherine Waterston, and Keith Carradine. It's about the Curtis family who were selected to test a new AI home device, but as it learns the family's behaviors, it begins to protect them in ways that were unimaginable. I do really like John Cho, and I like what he has participated in terms of thrillers. So this is technically a horror thriller sci-fi, so I'm interested to see his performance in this. But perhaps more interesting is Chris Weitz is directing this one. He also wrote the film, and he has such a strange background in film. He wrote and directed About a Boy, and he also directed Twilight, New Moon. So I have no idea what we're about to watch. But honestly, there's only one way to find out. I'll let you know whether it's worth your time, worth going out to the cinemas to watch, because it can be expensive, or if you should just wait and watch it on streaming platforms. Let's get going. Let's go see AfrAId and find out if there truly is anything to be afraid of. Let's go. Hey friends, I just got out of watching AfrAId, and my god, what a ride, and probably not the best one, unfortunately. That was so interesting because a lot of these kinds of movies, I don't want to stereotype the movie, but unfortunately a lot of these kinds of films, usually the setup is very erratic and the characters aren't charismatic, enjoyable, lovable, and the horror is the key portion of the film. This was flipped. I can't believe how that film turned out. It was very unexpected for me. So the blurb and also the name of the film, I don't think work very well to market what it actually is. And it's about a guy who is in marketing, and he takes home this AI device for his family to learn how to use so he can market it. And this AI device is amazing. Let me tell you, this film did nothing for me in terms of horror. I want this device, but it did everything for me in terms of drama. And I was not expecting that. I thought this would be cheap, bloody kills, nonsensical dynamics, and just all about trying to do these like scary setups where, you know, the robot talks in an awkward voice, and that's not what happened at all in this film. What happened was we followed this family that have such an magnetizing background, and they all have different individual personalities, issues they're dealing with. There's 3 different kids, and they're all so unique and have such a good setup. The lead in and how they establish the family and their dynamic and the relationships with each other. I was buying it. I tell you what, I love this family. They were so cute, so funny, and dealing with real life struggles. Each of them, their own. I thought it was really alluring. And that's the thing. It takes so long to set it up, but they're so enjoyable to watch that I didn't even mind when I realized we were about halfway through and there was still no horror. In fact, I thought this might be better for a TV show because there was so much to discover within each of their individual quests, their side quests. I've been watching From, can you tell? And I really enjoyed them. The drama in this horror movie is impeccable, especially for an AI horror movie, which I'm trying not to, again, typecast, but they don't have the best reputation, especially for having well-established characters. And I really like the characters. I don't think they made too many dumb decisions. I really enjoyed that. But then the horror comes in, okay? This movie is nonsensical. All of the evilness, it doesn't make any sense. I could not follow. I kind of get what they were getting at, but it really went so far off the topic because at the start, the family is dealing with things like too much screen time and the older sister, she's not utilizing the internet in the best way, let's say. Things like that. Also, they really narrow in on very current AI issues, dealing with AI imagery, AI videos being made, and I thought it was a really good place to take it because we haven't really seen a lot of AI gone bad where it isn't just a killer robot out to get them. It's utilizing, corrupting images and changing things. And I really liked that aspect and I felt like it was going to say something. But after all of the drama was had and anything left was squeezed out of the family, the horror had to come in somewhere and it just didn't mesh. These are two different stories. It was almost like AI wrote the script and said, here's this amazing established family that is written by a human and by a person. And then they used AI to put the horror into the equation. That's what it felt like. It made no sense. And I'm talking about, I was loving this film at the start. That's why I said I could have watched this as a TV show. I really wanted to follow these guys all the way down. But I felt like it just had no arc and nowhere to go. And somehow it had to bring in AI is bad. There definitely were a few moments within the dialogue that I thought was questionable. Some of the things they said felt a little bit pointed and off, and I really don't know what direction that is, and that felt kind of weird. But then when all of the horror stuff came in and how they tried to introduce the evil parts and the darkness, I'm being very vague, but all of that aspect, it just felt so mishmashed and not on the same theme and with the same consideration they had given the start of the film. The lead-in, impeccable. What happened halfway through, I could not tell you. But it went so far off track. The film also had David Dastmalchian in it, which was a surprise to me. I did not know he was in this film. It's really nice to see him pop up in horror. I just wanted to mention that because it was a big surprise and I did not know that at the start, but I assume it's in the full trailer, which I had kept myself away from. I had seen snippets of the trailer that showed the AI device itself, and it really did look like the typical bring Megan into the house, or Thregan as we like to call her, and everything going wrong from there. But they've tried to complicate the story to another level, especially to do with his job and his work, even though I guess that was the original story in Megan as well. But it's a very strange connection they try to make, and they don't fully flesh out anything that happens past a certain point. It's confusing, the messaging is all wrong, especially to start with such strong messaging about these kids almost being addicted to, I'm not addicted, but how big of a role tech plays in everyone's lives, which is, it's very obvious, I wish that they really focused more on the AI generated stuff, the videos, the photos. They have a really cool stylization throughout the film where they integrate that into some of the transitions, and I really like that idea. If you're into creepy images online and you've seen all of the TikTok trends of AI going wrong or AI recreating historic events, I think that's a great idea for horror. We haven't quite touched on that yet, even though we've touched on most things to do with artificial intelligence within horror. So I felt like they had a great setup, but then it just turned into an absolute mess. I think we should redo this film, okay? It's not too late, guys. It's not too late. Just take it back out of the cinema, put it back in the edit, and we'll just reshoot a bunch of stuff. Maybe we can just end it there and make it a pilot for a TV show. I just don't understand what happened to this movie. It went so far off course. So many things could have been completely removed from it, including entire characters who added absolutely nothing, but just tried to make a sinister feel. I really do feel like the end part of this film, or at least the horror aspects of this film, were created by AI. And maybe that is the horror of it all. Maybe that is the point of it all, guys. AI ruining horror. Just not in the way we thought, The film looked great, great characters. I really liked the start. It had a very creepy feel. I thought the setup and the vibe of it, I was really falling under this spell. After the first act, I was thinking, man, we slept on this movie. This Blumhouse film was just being released to cinemas amongst all of these other big horror movies as of late, and we really slept on the marketing for this. But I felt completely different by the end. It's a well-shot film. great cast, greatly acted. Just the horror aspect of it is way off. It's way off, and I feel like it's dumbing down audiences, trying to over-explain something to them in a complicated way where they lose the point themselves. For me, the film felt very enjoyable, a huge chunk of it, but I do think the end is kind of unwatchable. So for that, I'm going between a 4 and a 5 for it. For scare, I'd probably give it a 2. There is maybe one scene with a little bit of blood, but there's no gore. It's not a gory film by any means. And for originality, I'm gonna have to give it a 4. It was so sad. The kid was so cute in it. Maybe this is one you want to check out at home when it comes to streaming. Maybe watch the first 45 minutes, an hour, and then turn it off. I definitely have to give it a 4 for saying that, I think. It hurts my soul saying that because I really liked the setup. That's why I hate scoring films, because you can feel so many different ways about a film, and putting it all on the same scale is really crazy. That's why I always say, listen to what I say, not to what I score. And also, remember, it's always up to you. Go check it out for yourself and let me know what you think down in the comments. If you missed it, my latest video is a disturbing iceberg. I found this random disturbing iceberg on Reddit, and at the bottom was a film I'd never heard of and no one has ever mentioned to me, so I went on a journey to watch it. If you want to come with me, it is a ride. I promise you won't guess the ending. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe and stay spooky. Bye, friends.